see. If you are viewing this live stream after the live, the reason why it is a moment of silence is that I'm trying to confirm that I am actually live and that the health of the live stream is healthy. Because at this current time period, at this current moment, I can't confirm that I'm live. It looks like if I am live, the health of the live stream is poor or critical, and so I'm going to wait a few minutes. Feel free to look below in the show more section as well as in the comment section. There will be a timestamp for the beginning of this discussion about how black holes are changing our realm or our reality. Hello. I do it like this. Let's see. Okay, I do think I'm live now. I think so. And I think the health just went good. So I'm waiting still yet a few more minutes. Most likely I will begin at the 5-minute mark. We're now at the 2-minute and 15-second mark. And so I'm just going to sit here quietly, calm down a little bit, drink a little water, and relax. But I do welcome you here to Can Angels Fly Tarot Live, where we dive into various subject matters in order to come to understand our lives a little better so that we can fly. As you can see, the name of my channel is Can Angels Fly. I do believe with the appropriate information, we can fly, we can soar. So 5-minute mark will begin. I'm just going to relax, as I mentioned, and drink some water and calm down, because sometimes getting on this live stream can be very frustrating. I hope your day is going well. During this live stream, I won't be pulling any tarot cards. We will be discussing the current report and what the show and tell about a black hole. I'm going to offer my insight on the black hole subject matter, and it spans back to August 21st, 2017, and that was the date that the Great American Solar Eclipse, a Leo solar eclipse, occurred. I believe that was the first time that we who, me, you, and every individual that creates humanity were introduced or are allowed to see the black hole that they're currently talking about. 5-minute mark. Oh, it's at the 5-minute mark already. I'm keeping y'all waiting. Okay, let me make sure everything in place. It's just a discussion, and it's theoretical, of course. It's from my perspective, and I developed my perspective or theory on this black hole current event or subject matter due to my own personal life experiences. What I realized recently is that I was like, how do I know what I know? And I began to ask myself this. I'm kind of diverting and burning time. But I asked myself this because since I've become a YouTuber, I every time I make a video, the I guess the algorithm suggests videos for me to watch. And so it directs me to another video that may be covering a similar subject matter or topic that I'm currently covered or have covered. And so I realized since I've been a YouTuber that I'm not the only one that is aware of the things that I talk about on my channel. But I also realized, and I had already suspected, that everybody is getting the same message from different means. Me, I always share that I've acquired the knowledge that I have through my own unique life experience, which consists of being what a African American woman, plus size woman that matters, uh, going through school from K through higher education, and some world travels when I was younger, being a single mom, a woman that was in a committed relationship for 16 years. And just through that kind of mediocre life, I've been able to acquire the knowledge that I currently possess. Where other people, I realize that again, they've had their own unique life experiences, and a lot of the people that I've been seeing in other videos that have been recommended to me by YouTube have acquired a lot of their information from different books and manuals and things like that. And I just find that really, really intriguing, that we're all coming up with the exact same thing. But where I'm going today is a little more in depth. Of course, as usual, I haven't seen anything on YouTube about this subject matter in the depth in which I'm going to go. But I assume after I post this live, then the algorithms once again will suggest a video or refer me to a video that covers this subject matter. And again, I'm kind of rambling. Again, it's just a discussion, so I'm not trying to, be too serious. I just want to relax. I don't want to get frustrated trying to deliver a message, especially a theoretical message that I've developed from my own unique life experiences. Okay. Hi, Yanni. How you doing? Y'all really been loving on me. Thank you so much. Thank you to all my viewers and subscribers, and especially those that go the extra mile and really offer, actually financial support, because financial support matters. A lot of people don't think it matters, but to study such subject matters or allow oneself to be, what's the word? How can I describe my experience, to allow myself to be, it is not, I can't even say I allow myself to be, but to be overcome or overwhelmed with, I'll say, ethereal um, beings in order for them to deliver a message is not easy. And it does not gel well with the physical realm. I don't know if that makes sense, but for those that have ears, they will understand. But I just wanted to extend my thank you. In and out of work. You always working, aren't you? When the last time you took a break for yourself? Good feeling myself. Money matters, gratitude. Yes, it does. Money matters, gratitude. I like that. The MMG. The MMG. It does. It matters. Without it, I can't, nor can anyone else in this world, tend to their physical, worldly needs and wants. And it's very hard to work and to take care of a family, as well as to try to maintain a YouTube channel on a fairly, I think, professional level. It's difficult. So I do appreciate the support. It's a breath of fresh air. So now, without further ado, I want to talk about how a black hole in particular, is changing our RAM. Now, I can't say 100% that the black hole I will be referring to in the course of this live stream is the same black hole that our media and science has brought to the forefront and introduced to, I guess, the rest of humanity. Because they just introduced it this month, in the month of April, I do believe, of 2019. I haven't heard any, details, real intricate details about what was shared. I did try to Google some images, and it doesn't look quite like what I saw and experienced during the Great American Eclipse of 2017. It's not. But I just find it interesting that no one, oh gosh, I forgot to put the video link uh, in the cards. I want to put this, well, it's actually on the front page. Let me see if I can just cite it, y'all. Give me a minute. I'm just laid back, visiting, touching base with y'all, and sharing, and give you updates about where I am in my research. And when I say research, that is me receiving messages from the ethereal realm, which leads me to be inquisitive. And then I begin to search in this physical realm first, in my immediate life, and then Google, to, move the ideas that I receive or the information forward in order to formulate a what they call it, a comprehensive storyline. At least that's what I attempt to do. Thus far, 99.9% of the time, I have been correct. But, who knows? Things may change. I'm trying to pay attention. Number one, I had to pay attention so I don't miss any of the clues. So right now, I am going to my YouTube homepage because I want to cite a video that I made in 2017. And I put it on my front page, so it shouldn't be hard to retrieve. If I know how to get to my front page, that would help. Okay, I think I found it. And then I'll commence with the discussion. Okay, it's on my home page, and it says, I did something wrong in the title. It says, watch. I reported the black hole in 2017. The actual title of the video is The First Report of the Black Hole. Something is bigger than you, and you are not. Oh, I couldn't see it. Hearing that video play because I clicked on it to get the title. Because you're not watching. You're not watching. And so right now, what I'm doing is I'm going to place that video's link. Hi, Alicia. Oh, I miss you so much. What you been up to? Are you in love with your emoji? I hope those are tears of happiness. Because we got to figure something out. Here it is, cards. Let's see what I'm doing here. Y'all know I don't know what I be doing. I just be doing. Oh, I got all kind of cards that's probably floating around here on this, hold on, on this YouTube, on this video. Let's see, does that work? Yeah, I think it did. But hold on, y'all. I gotta get rid of all of these cards because they are not directly relative to this video. Everything that I do goes together. It tells a whole story. The story of humanity at the time that we all are here is what you find here on this channel. So right now we're talking about these black holes, or this black hole that they're talking about. because I have a theory. And so I guess, okay, I put the card there. I guess it'll pop up somewhere. Um, if you're interested in locating that video, and it's a timestamp on there because it covered my whole experience during, again, that August 21st, I guess it was, 2017 Leo solar eclipse and Leo new moon. It talks about my whole experience. And so it's a time marker that goes directly to when I began to talk about the black hole experience that I had during that event. And so I want to stop right now before I move forward, still procrastinating, and read the chat. Hi, Val, how you doing? Nancy, on this day, I wish the peace, harmony with the universe and with us. I am in agreement, Val. How are you today? Oh, I already know, peaceful and harmonious. Alicia says, been out spending quality time with the boys and still in college. Hope you're okay. I am okay. And I'm so happy y'all spending quality time together because that's what matters. That's interesting, Alicia. Did you check out the videos that I made for this current week? Because it talks about that, being able to identify what's real and what's important and where to invest our time, energy, and resources in order to make sure that very thing, in this case, yourself and the boys, are emotionally okay and secure in this realm. You are a living testament to the current astrological, not, it was an astrological tarot readings for this current week. Very good, very good. Okay, now I'm going to continue. I'm going to go back to what I'm supposed to be talking about, which is this black hole. Just trying to straighten out my screen so I can see. Again, thank y'all all for dropping by. I be missing y'all, but I have to have my time of meditation and quiet downtime and to hear those messages. So the black, okay, Val. I'm at peace with my inner self, going by the ocean later. Really? Oh, that'll be nice to enjoy the sound of the waves and to send out positive prayers to my friends and family. Thank you. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Yes, I know I'm going to be okay. Thank you. I know I'm a part of them prayers, Val. Thank you. Okay, I still have a lot of catching up to do on your videos. We all need meditation and quiet time. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. This life can be overwhelming. I guess at this time I need to add a disclaimer because the information that I will be sharing, this is a theory again, it's my personal theory I've come to through my collective life experiences. This subject matter or this discussion can be somewhat unnerving and disturbing overall. It is not my intent to incite fear or anxiety in you, but I do hope that by the end of this video, you feel motivated to ascend during this time period, because you know that's what it's all about, ascending, coming to accept what is going on in this realm, in our worlds and in our lives, and trying to adjust ourselves in a way that offsets the negativity that we are engrossed in. And that's basically what it is to ascend, but I'll clarify the extent of what I mean by the end of this live stream. So let me begin to read my paper, otherwise I'll just keep rambling forever. M&M, y'all got to catch up with the M&M message. What is it? Money matters. What would you say, Yanni? Let me go back up here. It was like, now Yanni came up with a new, okay, money matters, gratitude. That's the MMG, y'all. Catch up. Yes, I make my own schedule, so it seems I work a lot. When I don't live with a narcissistic, I'll be home more. Look, that's your response to this current circumstance and situation playing out in your life. I understand. I love to create a harmonious home life. Me too. But everybody's not in agreement. No, they're not in agreement, and I don't understand it. I be like, okay, just leave me be. Okay, the black hole. As you know, recently, it's been a hot topic that media and I guess scientists have discovered a black hole and they have shown images of it. I do believe that many of the images that we see nowadays are I don't know what they call them, like um, virtual kind of images. They're beautiful, very enhanced and elaborate and sophisticated. And so they're really, really nice. But I don't really think they're actually they're enhanced, I'll say. They're not the actual feed. But I do believe that we got to see a black hole up close and personal again back in 2017 during the Leo total solar eclipse. The event lasted 2 minutes and it was on August 21st, 2017. This Leo total solar eclipse was also the onset or the commencement of a Leo new moon. What am I talking about right now? I'm talking about astrology. Is a narcissist a black hole? You know it, Gypsy. You know, they will suck everything around and dry. Everything. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna digress. I'll never get done with this. You talked about that narcissist in a black hole, and I want to talk about the new series on what is that? Stars called American Gods. That I'm gonna make that a whole nother live stream. Oh my god. Um, okay, and so who may have been more primarily, I'll say, influenced by this astrological event were fixed signs like Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius in the 24th to the 30th degree of each of those fixed signs. Next were the mutable signs, which are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Sagittarius. There's one more. What's the mutable? And Pisces. Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, 0 to 4 degrees. And this lunar solar eclipse I'm talking about right now, I'm talking about the solar eclipse, and I do believe is directly related to black holes. So you just got to ride the wave with me, if you will. That solar eclipse passed over North America. That's why they called it the Great American Solar Eclipse. And it was again in 2017. During that same time period, Mercury was in retrograde. So right now, because I'm going to follow my little notes, I'm going to read whatever I wrote, even if it's a mess and it don't make sense. I'll try to make it make sense along the way. We'll see how it goes. Let's talk about Leo a little bit because what we're doing right now is we're just talking about the event that occurred that I experienced where I realized that we were introduced, we were allowed to see a black hole up close and personal. So right now I'm just talking about the event, the solar eclipse in 2017. What is Leo about? Well, as you know, Leo is the lion, and the Leo represents one is fabulous. They are a protector. They are looked at as regal, majestic, and very sleek. Leo represents an individual's personal expression into the world, or that individuals imposing their will into the world in resistance to another or others. Leo represents our individualized, personal, fabulous self expression that we push out into the world, in short. Anyway, the moon came across the sun. Therefore, the emotions of the person for 2 minutes, we'll say, this is just hypothetical, ruled over the sun. Now, the sun represents one's personal authority, that drive, desire. It is a driving force. So the emotions, rather than the more of the instincts, ruled at the time. A summary. Again, I don't know what I wrote here. Just wrote some notes. I'm going to read directly from my notes. It might not make sense. I'll try to make it make sense along the way. Once again, I just ask you to ride the wave with me. Right now, I'm talking about 2017's Leo solar eclipse. Why? Because it was an event that many of us experienced, including myself. And I believe we were initially introduced to a black hole up close and personal. So right now, I'm just talking about the experience. So a summary of what I just said is an individual's current emotional state, or, and when I say current, I'm talking about back in 2017, um, uh, fashioned by previous life experience, uh, had a result on the person's self-confidence. So what am I saying? I'm saying back in 2017, at the time that that astrological event was occurring, each of us had had our own collective life experiences. It depends on how successful we were. It determined the impact it had upon us and our level of self-esteem and our level of confidence, our ego. And that ego played in to our emotional state. And so we were somewhat emotional during this time period. And that emotion at that time, based on our success and how confident we felt in ourselves and our circumstances and our situation and our work and our attempt to push our will out into the world, which is what was spotlighted during that time. Another thing that is relevant to that time period in 2017 is that that Leo solar eclipse was 28 degrees of Leo, 28 degree, 53 degrees of Leo. And what does that mean? Well, that 28th degree corresponds with the 12th house of Pisces. And Pisces points out like pending life experiences or appropriate life experiences that will unfold because you did what you did or thought what you thought or had whatever experiences you had. It's quite a bit like karma. The 12th house goes with karma. So what am I saying? I'm saying that because our level of confidence was in a particular place due to our previous life experiences, we acted a certain way. We, just behaved in certain ways and interacted with each other. And as a direct result, we created our reality, our future. And that Pisces energy represents the future, that which would unfold. And so all of this, what am I talking about? I'm talking about that Leo solar eclipse and what it was all about. Now, at this time, I want to talk about during that experience that we were having, most of us collectively, especially in the United States, um, while we were watching this astrological event occur, I just gave you the interpretation of it and what it was suggesting or pointing out relative to humans. There was something else going on right before our eyes, right before our eyes. And so at this point in time, I refer you to the video that I just added to the cards that I cited. And it's called, I just retitled it, The First Report of the Black Hole. Something is bigger than you and you're not watching. It's attached to this video in the form of a card, or you can go to my homepage, which is Can Angels Fly Tarot, and it's right there on the front page. There's even a timestamp that you can click on that I think it starts at about 30 minutes into the video where I talk about the black hole experience. But right now, I'm going to share a summary of that experience that I had. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. But for some reason, I never found any information here on YouTube or anywhere else about this experience. So that day of that Leo solar eclipse, I'm outside. In short, I had my phone and I had my laptop. Soon, my phone went dead. And so all I had to work with was my laptop. Looking up at the sky, of course, prepared to view this eclipse, I noticed that the sky was crystal blue. And then just moments before that eclipse, that solar eclipse was scheduled to occur, all of a sudden clouds appear from nowhere. Boom, they appear from nowhere. And I'm like, well, they didn't float in and they didn't never float out. They just kept appearing and disappearing, appearing and disappearing. That continued for the whole duration of the show, I'll say. Not only that, is I never ever saw, I find interesting, I never saw the moon glide across the sky. It never swung in left or left from left or right. It never cascaded in. It's just all of a sudden you begin to see, at least I begin to see a dulling of our sun. And something else that I noticed, once we'll say the moon was eclipsing the sun, there was like a filter. But for that part, I don't want to go too deep. You can go view that video that I just referred you to because I have images as well for that video. But there was a filter. I realized that. Again, I go into depth about that filter. But another thing that happened is I couldn't see the eclipse. I couldn't see it, the corona, or whatever you call it. I couldn't see it, except by putting on my dollar store total blacked out glasses and doing a partial viewfinder. Then all of a sudden, boom, it appeared, the eclipse or the corona. But I got tired of standing there, staring at this eclipse and the clouds just appearing and disappearing, appearing and disappearing. So I was like, I'm gonna just let my laptop record what I'm seeing and view it in the house. And so I'm just messing with my laptop, changing exposures and everything. Get tired of that. I just let it record. But I was like, let me make sure that I have everything in frame. So I look over at the laptop, and of course, I can't see what's being recorded. You know how it is. Phone outside, you can't see. Laptop outside, you can't see with the sun. Okay. But the laptop does have a black screen, even when it's recording. It's something about its relationship with outdoors and the sun. So what I will talk about right now has all to do with the black screen that is present on our recording devices. In my case, right now, I'm talking about my laptop. So I'm just visually looking at my laptop and I can see what do you call it? Black screen. I'm sorry, black screen. And so what I'm seeing in that black screen is something that I'm hoping is being recorded, but I can't confirm. I'm like, oh, I can't believe what I'm seeing in the black screen. But of course, later on, when I get in the house and review what I recorded, my computer was not recording, wasn't picking up on what I was seeing in my black screen. So right now, I'm going to share what I saw on the black screen of my laptop. The actual laptop recorded just the sun as white and growing intensely in and out, and the clouds moving in and out, and some color changes, slight color changes in the sky. That's what it was recording. It was really boring, real boring. But what I witnessed real time was this. Imagine the black top of my laptop, or the black mirror, I think it's called, of my laptop. I just happened to lean down in order to try to see what was being recorded. And what I end up seeing was something like this. Oh, it's actually the background. Let me see. I'm not ignoring you, Gypsy. I just know I procrastinate. Right here. this image that is my background was what I saw in the sky. Now, the ground of the picture that you are seeing, that is my background, is the actual sky of that day. I drew in the black circle as well as the colorful lines that you see, the X in the sky. When I looked at my laptop, the black mirror, that's what I saw. But it was more like this. It was more like this. It was like a rainbow pattern. And I'm going into detail about this rainbow pattern. Remember, everything that I'm talking about has to do with these black holes that are being discussed. Again, I believe that we were introduced directly. It was a show and tell on August 21st of 2017 during that Leo solar eclipse. But we weren't paying attention. We weren't watching. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about what you're looking at. I've shared how I've tweaked this particular picture in order to share the concept. It's not that great, but the laptop, the black mirror, I'll say for now, the black mirror revealed the strangest things, the strangest images. The first image was the X in the sky. The way it looked, it was like the sky had limits or corners. It had four corners, literally. And I understand that the black mirror or the laptop itself had limitations, but it was how I was perceiving it. It made it look like literally the sky had its own limits and boundaries, and it was defined by the edges or the ends of the X. So what am I saying? If I had looked up, it seemed like I would have seen a huge X in the sky that marked the perimeter of our sky. And then in the middle, as you can see, there's this black X. I want to go to another slide so I can describe this more clear. Now, what you're looking at right now is a color wheel that I pulled off of Google. And remember, it looks something like this. And I'm going to try to describe it. So I'm going to bring it up closer. I hope I can. I hope I can. I hope I can. That's the sky. That represents the sky and the track or the X that existed. Now that is this same image I just put into the laptop so I could overlay it. Now, the colors that I drew out are not a good example of the colors that I saw in the sky. The color wheel to the left is an excellent example of the colors I saw in the sky that day. Excuse me. So let me see if I can explain. Each line or diagonal was a rainbow, straight, just like you see the lines that I created, and it was all circles. The circles were continuously overlapping, as you see how I've tried to draw them. And they, on the outermost edges, where it defined the boundaries of the sky, on the outermost edge were the darker colors, like the outside of the wheel, as you see. All of the colors that you see in this color wheel were a part of this X in the sky. The outermost edges were these created these colors. How can I say that? Like, oh, how can I say this? It was freaky. So we have the more darker hue or matte colors on the outside of the wheel. This is the same thing that was true on this X. It was just one large X in the sky with the central point, which was the sun, completely black. but it wasn't black to the point that a person couldn't see that there was activity taking place. The activity that was taking place in this black hole spot was a sucking in. I talked about it in that video back then. It was sucking all of the colors of the spectrum to our RAM into that portal. It was absorbing it. So all of the colored rings of the X, as mentioned, started on the outermost edge with a dark hued red. We're just going to use red as an example, the darkest red. And it spilled through all of the red spectrum. As you can see, the red moves from the darkest red to it becomes transparent. So each of these colors were present in that X. So it was like, I don't know, it would go red, orange, yellow, that lime, green, teal, blue, all the way around. The most matte color on the outside of one stick. We're talking about one stick, one extremity coming in first with all of those colors. And then the next ball, they were all overlapping. And then the next ball went to the next hue of that same color in the same order. So it was the red in the second inner circle. And they all spilled in together. And then it was the orange, all spilled in together, the yellow, and then all of the colors spilled in together until when it got closer to the black center or the black hole, which was eating up and consuming the colors of our RAM, it became transparent, just like you see in this on this color chart. Now, one thing that I want to make clear is that each of those lines to the X, neither one of them was pure orange all the way across, or pure red, or pure blue. No, it was a mixture of every single color you see on this wheel existed on one side, just say 1/4 of the X. It covered all of the colors you see on this wheel, starting with the most darkest and ending with the transparent colors pouring into the black hole. As the black hole fed upon the colors and the energies of this RAM, it drained the colors out till they were transparent. You could still see all the circles overlapping, even to the black hole consumed it. So I'm gonna stop because I'm still not made to make it make sense. But so we're going back here just so we can finish this discussion. So why is that important? Why is it important? Okay, I talked about that. Why is it important? Because I'm going somewhere with it. All you got to do is ride the wave with me. I promise you. I always promise you I'm going somewhere with this. I'm delivering some information that I have acquired. So I talked about the black mirror. I wasn't able to record it. The four corners. Okay. Right now, I'm going to stop. I'm going to digress. And I want to talk about my days, my college days. Right before I was unable to go to school anymore, I attended the University of Michigan in Dearborn. And I think the class, I think I was in I know I was in a lecture, but I think the class was natural science, I want to say. But I remember the last thing that the professor said. And what the professor was talking about was our sun. Now, I haven't been to school that has been about, I'm going to say 15 years ago, 12 to 15 years ago. When I left school, I couldn't go anymore. You could tell my heart hurt about it. But the last thing he was talking about was our sun. And I don't know if you know it or not, but major influential institutions such as universities, major universities, I don't know about, even community colleges, they have access to professional journals. And in those professional journals are information that the mundane people don't get. And so we learned a lot from these journals that these professors would share. And sometimes I really felt like it was not information that the students were supposed to get, but I think the teachers or instructors, the professors, were slipping some important or relevant information in on us. And so this day I felt the same way. The professor talks about, in closing, the sun, our sun, and talks about how science has come to understand, I guess by, if I recall, basically watching say the behavior and the emissions of our sun, that our sun was beginning the supernova process, meaning our sun was beginning to die. That is some real. That's a real tough cookie to eat. Again, I'm not here to scare you, but I'm here to bring awareness. And my hope is to motivate you to ascend. And it's a reason that I hope that this motivates you to ascend and is directly related to this black hole stuff that they've been talking about. So, the teacher informs us once again that scientists have confirmed that our sun is going through the supernova, just begun to go through the supernova process. And he consoles all of this whole lecture, which is like a movie theater of students, that, it is not anticipated that it was supernova during any of our lifetimes or even our children's lifetimes, but it has begun to go through the process. And because the sun is going through the supernova process, now this was, mind you, 12 to 15 years ago, but that's just a grain of sand in existence, so and in the galaxy. That, of course, we will have weather changes, extreme weather changes. It was anticipated that, based on scientific studies, that the weather would become, the summers will become cooler. It just depend on what phase the sun was in, as far as this, I guess you could say, contraction and then its expansion as it begins to go through the supernova process. I don't even remember how it was described. So, in the times that the sun was contrasting, it would lead to a colder climate here in our realm, which is Earth. And when it would more expand, as is, how a carburetor is in a car when it's, or what do you call it, a carburetor, or I'm thinking of I can't think of it, but when you're trying to start something and it's about to give out, how it's like coughing, it's trying to give off its last, it keeps jerking in and out of working. So as the sun goes through that process again, it will lead to colder weather anomalies and experiences, which has been true, and it also would lead to much hotter weather anomalies than usual as it goes through these phases. And eventually, over hundreds of thousands of years, thank goodness, our sun would supernova and become, I guess, a dwarf planet or whatever it was. Don't mark my words, research it. It was something like that. And so, okay. Yeah. And so that whole theory is scary. So right now, I want to talk about possibly why our government has decided to chemtrail the skies. I do believe that the government has decided to chemtrail the skies because of this morphosis our sun is going through. Sometimes is anticipated to be extremely cold or extremely hot. They have to remember, this is an ongoing process. It's been, like I said, 12 to 15 years since I sat in that class. This has been going on since the chemtrail stuff started. I know it got to be about maybe 10 years ago. So it has been a direct response to their awareness that our sun is going through a supernova process. And so they possibly may be chemtrailing in order to block out the extensive heat. It's not like they can wait to the last minute to do it in order to, keep the emissions and things. What do you call it when it throws off those emissions, or I can see them in my mind's eye. EMPs kind of energy or whatever they call it. They can't wait till the last minute, so they're consistently spraying in order to shield the earth from the radiation and all that the sun is emitting and throwing into Earth's atmosphere. So, in a way, I do believe science is protecting us. So, I was just sharing that. Right now, I'm going to stop. I'm going to read the chat. Then I'm going to go quickly summarize what I talked about because I need to add another piece of the puzzle to this story because we're going to discover why it's most important for us to ascend at this point in time in the history of humanity when it is being offered to us. And it's directly related to the black holes. So let me go up. How y'all doing? Thank you for hanging in here with me. And if you're ever interested in ordering your own personal reading, just contact me at my email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. And if you have any love offerings, all you got to do is click the link below in the show more section. And I think it's called www.paypal.me /canangelsflytarot for any love offerings. Thank you. Now, no, that's dark green drink, purple hole. What? What about the last eclipse in Leo? Okay. Girl, you got Leo in my 12th house, South Node in Leo, and Sun in the 5th house. Ooh. Gotcha. I remember this. You remember? Okay. Wow. I think we're closing a cycle because the last eclipse was in Leo and the North Node was in Leo. And the destiny in Leo, if express your fabulous self-expression. I just rewatched one of my videos where I was talking about that North Node Leo stuff and what was the significance of it. Okay. All right. So, summarizing what I just talked about very, very quickly, because I know how to procrastinate, y'all. I'm talking about the black hole and the significance of it and why at this point in time we would want to ascend while given the opportunity. I started talking about the 2017 solar eclipse that was in Leo. And why is that? Because it was an event in which I witnessed a black hole and what it's capable of doing and what it was actually doing. It was spotlighted and highlighted for us to go watch to see for ourselves, but we were watching what we were told to watch rather than seeing what was right before our eyes. Remember, this is a theoretical discussion, and this theory could be disheartening and somewhat frightening. I'm not trying to frighten you, just trying to inspire you to ascend when given the opportunity. And now is the time to ascend. So the next thing is I talked directly about my experiences during that solar eclipse and my laptop, which of course has the black mirror. And I shared what I witnessed, which is my backdrop here during this live stream. It was a large rainbow type X with all the colors of the color wheel, as I shared in the other slide. All of those colors existed in the X, and they were all being pulled into the black hole and consumed as those colors got closer and closer to the central point or the black hole. They became transparent, but you could see clearly. I could see clearly every circle of energy being pulled in quickly. And that was another thing about the overlapping ovals of that X, is that they showed this quickening, this fastness of that black hole drawing, again, the color, drawing in our color spectrum and energy from our RAM, consuming it. So After that, I talked about my last studies at the University of Michigan in Dearborn, where I think I was in a class, natural science class, and the instructor, the professor, told us about our sun was currently had begun the supernova process, but it would not, of course, complete its process or its metamorphosis in our lifetime nor our children's lifetime. At least it wasn't anticipated. However, it would cause extreme swings or weather variations, unnatural variations in the weather from that, moment forth, extremely cold winters into extremely hot sun. And I was saying that I do believe that scientists, as a direct response to their knowledge about supernova, our sun's supernova, decided to chemtrail the skies. That may be one of the reasons, chemtrail the skies in order to block out the extreme heat. Because once the immense waves swing our way, if we don't have those chemtrails to block them out, we would get hit directly by the sun. Now, what I want to talk about is a current astrological energy that we are all up under the umbrella of, and it is Uranus in Taurus. This is the planet Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And we've talked about this quite a few times. We've also talked about how Uranus had retrograded. First, Uranus, of course, it went through, I want to say Uranus is a generational planet. I'm not going to go into detail about that because I've done that before. But Uranus first, of course, went through Aries, and then it entered into Taurus. Then it retrograded back into Aries, and now it has commenced to move forth in Taurus. In short, what does that mean? Well, Aries represents moving forth to make changes, I'll say, in our reality. And so Uranus is the changes that are made, is the change, the destruction, the upgrades. When Uranus moves into Taurus, this is when those upgrades take place and manifest in our physical world. And they have the ability, those changes we have an opportunity to have an interaction with them, whatever that interaction may be. Remember that Uranus, after it went into Taurus, it went back into Aries. And it says, all right, people in you that create humanity, are you happy with what you created? Because you're going to have to deal with this. You're going to have to live out the residual effects, whatever they may be. Well, I guess we're okay with it because none of us said anything. So now Uranus and Taurus Uranus has moved back forward into Taurus and will continue to move forward on into eventually Gemini. It's not a quick process because it takes 84 years for Uranus to go around the whole zodiac sign. So I think that's about 12 years in each sign. So I do believe that Uranus, if I'm remembering, again, you can always do your research. I can't remember every fact, but I can throw something out there to spark your interest, and that's what I'm doing. And so this, if I'm correct, then Uranus will be in Taurus for the next, short of 12 years. So what does that mean? That means whatever we've created will manifest in this physical world. It will be solidified. We will be able to interact and engage with it. Now that covers every aspect of our lives. But what I want to focus on is about color and textures. And I've talked about this before, how Uranus in Taurus promises us a change in our color spectrum and textures. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because remember, I'm talking about this black hole and what it means for humanity and why it is important to take the opportunity while it's offered to you to ascend to a higher state. So Uranus in Taurus promises us new colors and new textures. Why do I say that? Because, see, Taurus resides in the second house, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus loves beautiful things. She likes what satisfies her physical five worldly senses: tasting, touching, smelling, seeing, feeling, whatever they are. It is also satisfying our urges, that human condition, the urges and desires that we have. The Taurus is also a fixed sign, meaning we know what we want. Either we are have or we have not, those kind of things. And so it's all that we can acquire in the course of our lives that can bring us physical security and stability. In short, it is what you call it? It's art. That I was going to say something else, but it's art. And hi, Electric Wizard. How are you? And so we're going to focus on art. So I'm going to try to keep it short because I can get long winded. So we're talking about art and changes in colors and textures. Because remember, Taurus likes to feel and she likes to see things that stimulates her eyes. Uranus says there are some changes that are going to take place. Some of them may seem sudden, but they will be extreme. They will be an update to your reality. Back to the image that you see, that's my backdrop. I testified that in August of 2017, during the Leo solar eclipse, I watched on my laptop, on the black mirror of it, even though it wouldn't record, I watched the black hole, which was the sun. I don't know if I said that. The sun was completely black, pulling in all the colors of our spectrum into it rapidly. Rapidly is the best word. And as it pulled the further out, the colors were darker, and as it came in, they became transparent. But I could clearly still see them, and they were all overlinking rings. Now, my question at the time was like, why is there a cross in the sky and a colorful cross, a colorful rainbow? Why weren't these lines everywhere? Why were they just across? That was one thing. And then my other thing was, why is the sun completely black, but I can see it pulling in? You can tell when something throwing out, because if something throws out, it sparks, it divides, it splits out. But when it's going in, that splitting effect goes in and down. And that's what was happening with this black hole. And so if I'm saying I witnessed a black hole in 2017 pulling our what? Colors into it and consuming it, that leads me to believe, based on this current astrological energy of Uranus and Taurus, saying it's going to be a change to things that have the ability to tantalize or satisfy or pacify your five senses, that this realm is devolving. It's devolving. And what do I mean? I mean the black hole is not like they're suggesting it is in this last week or so. It's not 50 or 500 billion miles away. No, black hole is as close as our sun, at least during that time period. And at that time period, we were watching it began to consume our spectrum, therefore devolving this RAM. This RAM is has been a self-contained ecosystem of perfection, made to sustain the lives of all living forms and beings in a high state of integrity. But this devolution suggests that in the future, this ram's ecosystem is changing. And its primary first change that we have been capable of witnessing is the consumption of our color spectrum through the black hole that was present on August 2017. I don't know if that made any sense to you or not. I'll try to clarify. Again, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm going somewhere with this. This lets us know that this point in time that we're being offered to ascend, to evolve our souls, suggests, I don't want to jump the gun, to take advantage of this period to evolve for a purpose. So I want to talk about now some things that I've talked about before here on YouTube, and it has to do with visiting higher and lower realms of existence. Before I move into it, I'm going to stop, I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to read the chat. Then I'm going to come back and talk about visiting higher and lower realms. Okay. Electric Wizard says, if you were to be in contact with a black hole, I think it will bring you to another dimension, like another universe or something. That's my theory. And that's what a lot of people have that same theory. And it is possible. But based on what I'm seeing, it's not so much that it'll take you to another realm, and I'm not dismissing what you have shared. Thank you for sharing. What I'm seeing is that a black hole changes a realm, and that's its job. It has its job to do, just like the sun had its job to do for an appointed time. And that's another thing. I'm just putting this here, interjecting it because I don't have it written down. I read somewhere, and I do want to say it was in one of the books of the Apocryphon, or the hidden books, those that were omitted out of the Bible, the King James Bible, is that our planetary bodies and all these systems, that our ecosystem is created of, were commanded to do their jobs. And it said in one of those books that they who the example planetary bodies would continue to do their jobs for the appointed time. Meaning at any given time, they can be commanded to do something else, and that's what they will do. I'll end that. Now, thank you again, Electric Wizard, for sharing. Now, I commence with my report. Again, it's theoretical and it's based on my life experiences and all the pieces of the puzzle that I've picked up in the course of my life. Visiting higher and lower realms. Well, most times I'll say that I visited other realms or dimensions were in my sleep state. Not all the time, but in these two cases that I'm going to share, they were in my sleep state. The first one I'll discuss is about when I was, I'll say, raptured by an angel. I have a video about that experience here, and it's called An Angel's Love, I do believe. An Angel's Love. You can probably find it in my video catalog. If you click on it and type in An Angel's Love, it should come up. Let me tell you a little bit about that experience. So I'm talking about a higher realm and what it looked like. Now, in my dream, all of a sudden, it was this angel. It was a black angel, a male. And he was tall, I don't know, 12, 15 feet, I don't know. Oh, he was gorgeous, 6-pack. He had long dreads. He had the white kilt on with the folds and the gold, what they call it, like belt, or it was like a plate. And he was levitating, and I knew he was an angel. And I was on the ground. He wouldn't touch the ground as if the ground was not worthy for him to touch. Now, I know that I wasn't in this physical realm because of the scenery. The scenery was like a metal, but the colors were much more enhanced or brilliant than any color I've ever seen in this realm. The blades of the grass were individual, and they were all happy. All the great blades of grass were happy, and it was the greenest green I ever seen, and the flowers were like the yellowest yellows I ever seen. It was metal that went on from the forefront to the background, and I believe there were hills and things like that. It's been quite a few years since I had that dream, that experience. And so the angel just stretched his hand out to me, and I basically lift off the ground and levitated up into him. And he just overlapped his arms over me, and he spoke to me, not verbally, but more telepathically, I say, because I never saw his lips move. And he told me it's okay, that he was here, and he told me I couldn't go with him because I don't want to go back, because it was an experience that happened And I go into that experience in detail again in that video, and it was called An Angel's Love. And I go into detail in that video for a reason, because it left me with something. Literally, it left me with something, and that has been highly beneficial. So I'm in that, pointing out and focusing on the color spectrum, or color intensity that exceeded our color chart, exceeded. That was a higher realm. So remember, I was just saying that it is my belief that this realm is in the process of devolving, and I've given evidence. Here's another piece of evidence that why I believe that our realm is devolving. When I was able to visit the higher realms, the colors were more enhanced. They were not of this world. They were like a next. Imagine that circle going out a few more times. I would imagine that the colors were in that range. I don't think we have the capability, even right now, of creating the colors that were present in that dream. And what am I saying? I'm saying if what I'm seeing, if my what I am perceiving is correct, then even the color spectrum you see here will begin to devolve and to change. But our memories will won't remember them. How can I say it won't be remember? This RAM just won't be as rich as it is now. The whole ecosystem is devolving, including the reduction, I'll say, of those colors in that color spectrum, starting with the outermost ring, of course. I hope I'm making this make sense. What you talking about, Yanni? I remember you speaking on that angel a while ago, right? I did. I spoke about him quite a few times, yeah. For me, black holes power could totally change a person's personality instantly, and perhaps right. As this black hole has been, again, already almost 2 years that I can testify to, has been near our or in our atmosphere, and it has been consuming that which creates our ecosystem. I use the example of the colors, and yes, just when the colors disappear, people's memory of those colors or recognition of those colors will also dissipate as well. This whole realm is devolving. That's why it is imperative to take the opportunity now to evolve oneself and or to ascend, however you like to label it, because this realm is not going to be the same. And a person would not want to reincarnate into here, back into this realm, when it has gone through its final process to what it is devolving to. The next realm up is the realm I'm talking about relative to that angel in the video I entitled An Angel's Love. It is imperative that we evolve up into realms like that are more rich and advanced than even now. That is the next level to go to in order to secure our evolution. Because understand this, if this realm is descending or devolving, then anything that incarnates back into this system, whatever it may be, the ecosystem may be at the time, has to fit within that ecosystem, meaning we will come back as devolved beings, setting us back, what, hundreds of thousands of years? Oh no. It's time to ascend. Okay, now I want to, how do you recommend people evolve? Okay, that you know what, that is where I'm ending this live stream. I'm almost done, and that's where I'm ending it. So thank you for posing that question, so I won't lose my line of thought. So hold on, Yanni. Okay, so right now I want to talk about visiting lower realms. There are realms that are lower or less evolved than our realm right now as we know it. And I shared visiting one of those realms in the dream state, and it was called hell I don't even know what it was called. I didn't even look it up. I didn't, because it was that was a horrific. The dream state of the hell was the opposite to the angel. They were two different experiences, and I'll share a little bit about that visit to the lower realm of which was hell. Hell was a place where I had to be. You've heard this. If you follow any hell kind of stories, you hear that Christ might come walk a person through hell to show him hell. It was something like that. I was already in hell and I had to be awakened. Like we have to be awakened now. I had to be awakened in hell because the hell state is a mental state. And so you don't even know that you're in hell. You don't even know what you are doing when you're in hell. You're just in it. You're just doing it. And so I'm going to say, so I had to be awakened in order to record the experience. So I'm in hell. I'm participating in hell. I am awakened, so that I can record the experience. Had I not been awakened by some force outside of myself, divinity, Christ, whoever, then I would have never been aware in order to record the experience. So in hell, how can I quickly talk about it? Because I don't remember the video to refer you to. I just know it was about hell. And I know I had a braid. My hair was auburn and I had a braid on the side and the little sundress on with a bunch of stripes. If you see that video, that's the one. All I can remember is that everybody in hell was stacked up on each other, literally. Like I'm here, it was somebody over here eating my head, somebody here in my arm, and I'm chewing on their arm, that gnawing and gone the teeth, and somebody here and there, and stacked. We were interlinked all, and we all was black as this dress with an undertone of flaming red, like lava underneath. But our structure or our silhouettes we just silhouettes, like silhouettes, jet black silhouettes with cracks like lava inside. We were inflamed, and those were the passions. We were inflamed, and I'm gnawing on. When I woke up, I was gnawing on somebody's head. Like, yeah. Oh man, somebody was gnawing on my head. I was sick when I got up. When I woke up out of that, I was like, oh, I was sick. It was a horrible feeling. Could you imagine being stacked and interlinked with the next person in humanity, and you don't even know you're in that close a proximity with the next person? There was no sense of belongingness, no sense of connectedness. We have that in this realm. We also have individualism, and even though we're individuals, we still have others. We didn't have a concept in that space, in that lower dimension of hell, that realm of hell. And why were we gnawing? What was the gnawing and the chewing on the other person? It was the hunger and the urge. See, in this realm, we have the ability to satisfy our urges, our needs, our wants, our desires, our second house Taurus things. But in that realm, we couldn't. We longed. That was the fire. That was the burning. That was the torture. That was the torment. But the glitch was you didn't even know you were being tortured and tormented. You was in the dark psyche, detached, isolated place of longing. I don't know how to express it. And so I'm just gnawing and gnawing and gnawing and gnawing, trying to feed and satisfy these urges and these desires and these longings. It went on and on and on. It was no end. It was no bottom to hell. It didn't stop. Number one, you didn't even know you were there. It was like this. I don't know how to explain not having consciousness, but being affected so deep. That I ain't never had nothing. I've never ever had a dream, awaken, sleep, or anything like that. That shit, excuse me, was crazy. I was like devastated. Just thinking about I'm devastated now. That was some deep shit. Excuse me, I digress because I'm getting emotional. So why do I think it's that dream was a clue to our ability to ascend or descend? Well, in that realm, there was no color, there was no attachment. There was no connection. There was not consciousness in the way that we know it. It was nothing but longing, unyielding, unsatisfiable longing. Didn't even have the attempt. Man, and it went on and on for eternity. It's still going on for eternity, even in ugh. So let me stop. That's the lower realm of a lower realm of existence. I think it's just one more realm that may be lower than that, and is complete nothing, nothingness. So that realm right there, void of even the pleasures of this world, and the colors and the intensity and the intricate details that are offered in this world, is an example of a devolved state, and a devolved, even the beings, devolved beings. And so, what am I saying? I'm saying that where we are now, the realm that we are in, is changing. It is changing. And I believe that there are spiritual reasons why this realm is changing. But that would take this video into a whole nother level. But it has to do with the beings that are ruling this realm. And so we humanity, the people that create humanity, and the people that have a primary interest, or the energies or beings that have a primary interest in this realm, have done, I'll say, some corrupt works, and therefore this realm itself is devolving in order to fit their order. This realm is being specially tailor made, and the presence of this black hole is here to begin to the process of, we can say, redecorating or refining or tailoring this ram specifically for them. And this ram, as it's being retailored, is going to be devolved. And anybody that is caught here or reincarnates back into this ram at a particular point in time in the time period of existence is going to evolve in a form that is also devolved. And remember, we have to climb, we're climbing up like through these ranks. And so obviously, if anybody has been into the lower states, you've climbed up. Now we're here. If you have to come back here because you do not pass this test, because you do not ascend, because you do not evolve, if you do not learn the life lessons that you have had to learn in this realm, you're going to come back in here possibly come back in here during the time that the state of this realm has devolved. It won't be the same as it is now. And so why right now is why this is why it's imperative and important to seeing by given the opportunity. So you go up into the next realm. So you don't have to worry about, even if you have to reincarnate in that realm, at least it's that angel's love realm where everything is much more enhanced, where you are comforted. I'll give that to you about the angel's love. He was a comforter. Everything was complete. It was whole. It was like, could you imagine jumping on top of an orgasm at its height, but never having a full burst of an orgasm, but the height of it, and just ride a smooth, clean orgasm, and just riding it like surfing it, like a wave, infinitely happy, filled, clean, whole, protected, cared for. See, that's the next realm that I was shown in that dream state. And so either we can ascend now, or we can allow ourselves to descend, join in the descension of this realm. Oh Lord, who wants to fall any lower? I hope not. That's not even an option. I ain't got no full clarity on it. Oh, I like that. Hey, Nancy, I designed your life. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Um, I be trying to take my time. How do you know? Recommend. Okay, okay. And so I'm almost done. So that's why, as you see, I'm putting all the clues together. Now, this only thing I've read. That's what I was starting this live stream off with. I'm about to get into books, y'all. I've never been a book person. Not even while I was in college. I shortcutted and cheated. I was the one that paid attention to the professors and raised hands. Me and textbooks didn't get along. And so somebody suggested on a video I clicked on yesterday a book, and so I purchased it. I guess it'll be here by first week of May. So I'm gonna start reading. But most of what I share here did not come from reading. It literally came from my life experiences. That's why I'm just kind of blown away now when I really look at how I've acquired the information. Yes, there's been some reading, like when I was in the church reading the Bible, listening again, but listening to the pastor still cheating. But I did do a lot of studying on the side, but I testify when you're doing religious studies and readings in the Bible that it requires you to do a lot of historical work and things like that. I can't bring all that stuff to the table for y'all because this is years and years of accumulated work. One day I'm gonna show you all my being from last year of all the papers that I have accumulated. I'm gonna have to have somebody help me carry it up because it's got to be about a 20 pound pail but tote full, and it's so heavy. And every year I have a bonfire because I have all of these papers and work and things. I can't keep it. I'll be a hoarder. And so I haven't done a lot of reading. And so I just, right now, I'm to the point, what would I discover if I was to start reading? So I'm gonna start reading. And then I never really wanted to read because I started wanting to see just how far the unknown would guide me by itself. I got this far with the unknown basically guiding me. And so I'm like, am I supposed to overstep the boundaries of the unknown to seek out this information, or do I stay what do you call it, more of a like a virgin or something like that, and allow it to come as it will? Because I always tell you, any gifts, superpowers, any experiences I've ever had, visions, things like that, I didn't summon them. It came and walked with me. It came and requested me. It came, but I feel like if I read and do all that kind of stuff, that thank you. Is that Terry? Didn't put my glasses on. How you doing, girl? Oh, hi, Rue. How are you? Welcome. You looking in? I see them eyeballs rolling around. So I'm learning. I'm digress because I go to rambling. As y'all can tell, I've been going through my own thing, having my own breakthroughs. So let's talk about this final one. I may have already covered it. This is, I think, the last part. Almost there. It's called Descent into Hell, and it's the changing of this realm. Yes, I did talk about it. The ecosystem, as we know, is being changed and creating a lower realm. That what I have here, that souls will reincarnate into and adapt into adapted life forms. Souls will reincarnate into this realm, into adapted life forms, conscious life forces, being very conscious, that will be directly affected by the environment. That's some deep crap. Uh, I love your science spiritual classes. Thank you, Johnny. It's only because y'all I'm still on here. They done took me and just kicked me to the curb. But I'm still not talking to myself. I got y'all to talk to. So I'm trying to be appreciative. I am. Because I tell y'all, I got an ego. But thank y'all for, staying with me. Because I know my kids get tired of me. Aquariuses don't need to read. LOL. I go to sleep as soon as I start reading. I'm like, I used to try so hard. I'm like, stay up, sit up, drink coffee. Shit, I'll be out. 3 lines, I'm out of there. I think reading can offer another point of view, though. I feel like reading that too now. Right, me too. I'm going to, at almost 50 years old, I'm going to start reading. Finally. Cause I ain't being funny. I be used to tell divinity, I was like, you take too long. You always take too long. What I'm supposed to do when you're not active in my life? And I swear to goodness, one day I asked that question, and this had to be, I'm really starting to get old, close to 20 years ago, and I ended up turning on the TV, and Joyce Myers was on. I said, well, let me watch Joyce Myers. I heard a lot about her, and she was talking about how you have to be able to walk on your own, how God, that's a religious teacher. Because she says when God leaves, he will leave you just so you can walk on your own because you could become codependent. And the whole thing is God is trying to train you to be able to walk independently. And so when she said that, I said, oh, okay. It lined right up with what I was going through and what I was thinking. And for years, like I was walking by myself and being tried in the fire and refined and tested and all that kind of stuff, which is goes straight with Aquariuses anyway, as Aquariuses are ruled by Uranus and Saturn. Saturn being taught us all the rules and the restrictions and the limitations. And then in this lifetime here, we have Uranus come in and say, pop quiz all the time. Pop quiz. Do you remember from past lives? Pop quiz. It's really annoying. And so we were made to walk alone, made to walk alone, being completely refined in the fire. Let's see. So, as I've been saying throughout this live stream, I'm not sharing this information and this theory to incite fear in you at all. I'm hoping that this information, this theory, is something that will motivate you to accept the opportunity to ascend. And we're going to talk about ascension. Into higher realms. And this time I'm talking about literally ascending into higher realms upon your reincarnation. Because remember, what is taking place is the physical vessel is a tool that is helping us to re-educate our souls so that we can ascend up into higher realms. So, motivation to ascend to higher realms for the consciousness to reincarnate into like an angel's love. That's the next realm, the angel's love realm. I don't know what it's called. The video I ended up tapping into yesterday was talking about these different higher realms, and that's what I was like. That's what I'm saying. Again, I'm rambling, but that's what I was like, Lord. What's going on? I said, now how do I know all this information? These people are reading and they seem like they're extensive readers and they have all these labels and words, which I mean, I was making my own words along the way, but it wasn't the same words most of the time, some of the time, that these other people have read and come up with. I walk this and can describe this. So when I'm like, wow, these other rams I've seen, I visited some of them, and so that's how I'm aware of them. Other people read about them, or I guess maybe read somebody else's story like mine. I just never got the right man down. Nobody listened to me except for y'all, you know. And so I was like, wow, this is some deep stuff. It's some deep stuff. I've been seeing some stuff. We know is what I'm getting to. We know. And so be motivated to ascend. And we're going to talk about that in closing right after this. It says as a threat. Oh, I already talked about this. I took it out of order. Where I talked about a threat. This ram is a threat to the current being or rulers of this realm or this planet. Why they don't want you to ascend. Why they don't want you to ascend. Why don't they want you to ascend? Remember, your energy, your soul is the most priceless thing in existence. And the beings that are ruling, we can say Satan, whatever label you want to stick on it, and the fallen angels, you can stick whatever label you want on it from your life experience or for culture, race, or whatever. There's beings that have an interest in the sustainability of this realm, and they need energy to fuel it. Number one. And number two, they don't want to be stuck in here no matter how the contents of this world look and have to deal with it on their own. They want slaves to attend to it. Even if this realm, even after this realm devolves, they want some slaves here. So, just like that. So, all of this is why they don't want you to ascend, why there has been in our lifetime so much effort put in on keeping people unaware and unconscious. So, okay, I've talked about that. Now, what does it mean to evolve? We talked about that, to ascend. To evolve, means to grow, and to ascend is talking first about the ascension of one's consciousness or awareness. For hundreds of years, I mean, you got to think, see, that's why it is important to follow my channel, because I go into each part of what has created humanity overall, as a whole. We're coming from, if we're going to we think about it, let's go back to the Adam and Eve story. These were some really naive, juvenile beings that didn't even know how to take care of themselves. They depended on the force outside of themselves to take care of themselves. Now, the people that create humanity, some of us are highly very sophisticated. We have technologically advanced and capable of merging machine with man. We're on the verge of creating a God, what do you call it? A 5G God. I reported about that. And so my whole point is we have evolved as far as our understanding about this physical world. Some of us, not all. Just some people, that we talked about that too, about people that are geniuses or people that focused on a particular area of expertise or branch of knowledge. These are the people that are evolving. But the rest of humanity is what everybody labeling sheeple. All you do is follow the rules. Whatever somebody tells you, that's what you follow. If you're incapable of following the rules, if you cannot prove yourself worthy, then you fall in the cracks and you struggle the rest of your life. That is not evolving. That is not making us aware. This age of Aquarius, this Varnox, where Aquarius is highlighted humanity. And this is an appointed time. Remember, the opportunity is being offered to all individuals that create humanity to wake the heck up. You've been put to sleep. You've been bamboozled. Wake up. This realm is going to change. It is going to descend. Either you wake up and understand the context of this realm that you are in now, and that your people and your ancestors have been in, and come to understand, wake up to see what has been kept from you, how magic has been performed on you, how there are certain people, elitist label, that have ruled this world, mastered this world, and in mastering this world and keeping that information from you is also mastering you and making you various forms of slaves. Wake up. That's what this astrological energy is about. It says wake up, because your very soul depends upon it. So here, at this point in time in the history of humanity, all of a sudden, we are literally waking up. Just like I talked about that hell experience, where I wouldn't even known I was in hell if that which was greater than me at the time hadn't woke me up and said, look at this and record it. Look and see where you are. Look and see what you're experiencing. Only through being permitted to do so was I capable of doing that. The same thing is happening in this realm. Wake up and see what you're in the midst of. Wake up and see what you're contributing to. But a lot of people are afraid to do so. But that's the first step. What they say, that's the acceptance is the first step of recovery. We're in the first step of recovery is understanding what we are in and what we need to do. And then do it. Do it. And what does it mean to do it? To begin to, I'll say, secure our evolution. Well, this at the time, all we're responsible for are the time frames that we've been here in existence. And so what the video I just did a live stream not too long ago was called Making Something Out of Nothing. If you have time, go to my homepage and type in Making Something Out of Nothing and view that. And that's a breakdown. It gets micro micro on that subject matter, diving deeply into it so you can see what it is to evolve and what we have to do, what we have to deal with in order to ensure that we evolve to the next level or to the next realm, to that angel's love. So that we don't have to reincarnate back in here and be a source of sustainability to this realm, how it will be at the time period that we come back in here, because it's not going to be the same. Now, I want to clarify this. The process I'm talking about is not overnight. See, we think too short term range. That's one of our major problems that we have to overcome. We think too short term. We think now, not later, not an extended forecast. And we got that. That problem is getting us in trouble in this physical realm where the elitists and the rich work generationally. Sometimes, not generationally, they work by, we'll say centuries. What's the 100 years? Centuries upon centuries. That's how they work. It's handed down as a part of their legacy. We work literally from generation to generation. In reality, they done broke us down to moment to moment. And so we work based on right now, never considering that we existed in the past, we exist in the present, and we will reincarnate at some point in time in the future. So one way or another, we always here and we're always affected, but we never plan for the extended forecast. While they planning for the extended forecast, so they always at least 100 years ahead of us, even in knowledge, technology, and awareness. And that's what we have to stop. That same thing stands true for hold on here. I'm talking about I lost line of thought. Anyway, evolving. How do we evolve? Please watch that live stream called Making Something Out of Nothing. I believe it's called. And it talks about our collective experiences as well as generational issues that we must deal with. We must learn how to be cultural with one another, and how to cohabitate on this earth, and to have a equal distribution of all the natural resources on this earth to ensure that each being or avatar in this physical world has a sense of physical security while in this world, because a lack of physical security or any mental traumas and things like that, how can I say, I would say absorbs down to the level of the soul. It absorbs into the ethereal realm where the soul really comes from. And it in that, what am I saying? I'm saying the soul is affected, affected by our experiences in these realms. And it'll either permits the soul to ascend or descend. In this physical realm that we have come to know, there have been so many horrific and traumatic experiences from a personal level to a global level, or from a micro level to a macro level, that people's souls have been negatively inflicted. and therefore they cannot uh, evolve, spiritually evolve. And the weight of the trauma, the collective trauma, the collective consciousness requires us to keep coming back here in this level until we get it right. The problem is this level is devolving. So we're not coming back with the same opportunity to evolve, making it that much more of a tougher test. It's like the test change. We don't want to come back when the test has changed in this realm. When we come back, we want to go to another realm where it gets a little easier. It gets a little easier. I don't know if I made that make sense. Hopefully, if you have time, you take the time to rewatch this live stream again. Maybe watching it a second time will make it make more sense. I hope I was able to kind of articulate and share what I'm seeing. Again, it's just a theory. And please don't leave this live stream afraid, but leave it inspired to do what? To play your part in the healing of the collective. The collective. So let's see which is I'm reading David Icke's Everything You Wanted to Know But Have Never Been Told. Love him. David Icke's. I think I've seen him mentioned here on YouTube before by somebody. I'm going to have to check him out. But I'm going one book at a time. I don't want to get overwhelmed. I get struck with fear and I just won't do it. I get overwhelmed and I fall asleep. So I'm doing one book at a time. Have you followed Laura Eisenhower? I ain't never heard of that person. Like Eisenhower, the president? Oh, really? Yes, great granddaughter of the president. You were reading my mind. Okay, I know you be be very interested in her info. Okay, I'm gonna have to write out a list and get one at a time. I'm gonna have to treat myself every month, every other month to a book. Well, soon I'll say after I finish one book, I'm gonna treat myself to the next book. I'm gonna make a statement too about I'm a people that I categorize as elitists. These people that were born into bloodlines or families that have access to some of this information that we were ordained, I'll say, to eventually stumble upon. They were just given it. And so I want, because, we live in a realm where it is commercialized or capitalistic. And so all of this information has been slowly fed to the people that create humanity through capitalistic means, meaning everything is for sale. And so it seems like I'm seeing now, as I look back, is that, like, how can I say it? When yoga, probably in certain cultures, it might have been common practice, but not in like North America and other parts of the world. Everybody had, first they colonized, they wipe everybody natural connection with the earth out, they colonize and give religion and philosophy. Now, because we need more ways to make money because everything capitalistic, now let's sell portions of it back. And so they sell yoga, and you get to get a yoga instructor. Now you get to go do some teachers. But see, that's an insult to a person like me. I'm not flexible like that with yoga, but I understand where it come from. I understand how it's developed. Like I said, I didn't go looking, like an example, I didn't go looking for yoga. Yoga found me. What would that look like in the physical world if it was to transpire or come into existence through events? Well, I didn't look for yoga. Yoga came and looked for me. I was twisted up and locked up. It could be that, I'm going to give you an example of how it worked out. See, this is what I know. Let's say a young person, just hypothetically case scenario, is abused in a manner in which they may not get an A on their test, but get A minus, and they have a crazed parent or caregiver. That caregiver slams them into a small container or enclosure, and that child is crumped up in a yoga pose. We'll say, this is how I know spirituality, and they're there. And of course, the experience is so freaking traumatic. The child or teen is going crazy, crying, can't escape, it's dark. But then the Holy Spirit, the sins upon a person in that place. Now, this is my imagination because I haven't had this deal done with me, but yoga. But I'm giving you an example of how I know spirituality to develop. And in that place, the Holy Spirit descends upon that child. As I say, you're never alone. The Holy Spirit is real, or however you like to label it, descends upon that child or teen in that situation, and it quiets and stills that child's mind. And in that position, the Holy Spirit begins to minister to that child. So that place of darkness and of cramped, that cramped, dark place that has them distorted, physically distorted in we'll say a yoga pose, is no longer a traumatic experience to that child or young adult. It becomes a state and a position of meditation. So when parents in the past, we'll say hypothetically case scenario, let that child out and they didn't see that child was broken, they didn't understand that anger and aggression and hate and whatever that parent was going through or caregiver was going through, like just spews like the hawk, because they don't see that brokenness. They couldn't bring that child in our example into their misery. That child was saved by grace. Why? Because the Holy Spirit descended upon them and comforted them or counseled them in their very environment in which they sat. And so when they come out, they look like they ain't been through shit. They renewed and ready to go. That's the kind of spirit I understand. So like these people that are born into privileged bloodlines or families in which this information is taught to them, these might be the people that invoke things to have those experiences so they can say, oh, I understand now. Because until you have it, you don't understand it. You really can't understand it. You can learn it. You can learn how to do yoga. Yes, you can get some of the experience from it, some of the benefits, but you never understand the depth, the soul depth of what a person, how it transforms them. And so this is where we, people in humanity, based on my experiences, but who am I? But I appreciate you riding a wave with me and listening to me share. Each of us, each human in humanity is supposed to have those type of experiences I just shared. Now, it doesn't have to be traumatic. But we've gotten to the place where a lot of experiences have are traumatic. But there was a time period where things weren't traumatic and we lived one with nature. And so those type of lessons were learned, I'm sure, every day in every way. But now, because we're dealing between man's law and we'll say divine law, and man law is trumping, is overshadowing divine law, which is always in play. It's harder for us to have those experiences and those types of deep. That's what they mean by deep transformations. See, those are the kind of experiences I had where, again, I didn't summons anything. I don't ask for anything. It come and sit with me at the appropriate time. It comes to minister to me at the appropriate time. I've experienced it, like speaking in tongues, healing, all of those things. But it it comes again at the appropriate time, at an anointed time. It comes to be with you. But what am I talking about? I'm talking about these people that have an interest in controlling this realm. They took a shortcut, and that's really what they stole from humanity. That's what they stole from our I say that's what they stole from our our experience, remember, it's about us evolving, and that's how we evolve. They stole that. That's what has been stolen. And that misinformation has what's been kept quiet and kept away from humanity all of this time, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And now, at this point in time, is where all of that information is flooding back. Like I can sit up here and tell you, I can give you an example, case scenario of how it is. See, they were selling it, going back to people that selling it. We live in a capitalistic world. Selling bits and pieces is not making sense. People doing yoga, yes, they're getting some effects, but they're not getting the real transformation. It's, again, commercial, it's capitalism, that kind of thing. So it's not helping on the level it's supposed to help. Of course, it is a divine healing process, a divine healing process. So yeah, it worked. And that's just one example. Yeah, and so they kept all that from us, and now everybody's starting to bring their pieces of the puzzle to the table so we can put them on the table so we can hear them. And again, I think when I say we, I'm talking about all of us that create humanity, are building a vocabulary that we will be able to share. And I was saying, and I stopped my thought, that this is not a fast process. And so we will go through our development, the history, the timeline of humanity, in which, what they call it, AI, artificial intelligence, will be prominent, and the 5G will be God. We're going to go through all of that. At the same time, this realm is changing, and eventually it will be transformed into something else that I do believe will sustain lower life forms, offering less ability to evolve spiritually. And so as we move through these trying times of, again, the change from humans being the primary source of life to AI being the ruling force and factor with the 5G and all that it's going to bring, and God, its technology, everything, all of that. That's going to be some real trying times, because remember, it's moving God, it's removing man out of the spotlight. It doesn't care about man anymore. So it's going to be some challenging times. We're going to move through that. We're going to live, die, reincarnate later on. And so what I'm trying to say, I'm talking about the time period. That's a lot. It's a lot of time. But remember, it seems, I ain't being funny, y'all, based on what I've learned and experienced, it seems like we are infinite beings. We are infinite as a part of the source. And we're eternal. We are eternal beings, infinite, as part of the source. But as individuals, it's temporary. However, it's this constant reoccurrence, this constant reoccurrence within eternity, constant reoccurrence within eternity, and never remembering one loop after the next. That's some deep stuff. Ooh, deep stuff. What a life. I've had an interesting life. I'm sorry. Sometimes when I see the information, I just gotta go with it, y'all. I don't want to lose it. Bring me to tears. Okay. 5G. Oh, yes. Thank you, Yanni. Y'all hit the like button. I can use a few likes. Every like counts. And of course, if you're ever interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading, because this is a tarot reading channel, all you got to do is contact me at my email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. And if you have any love offerings or financial contributions that you'd like to submit to me, just click on the link below in the show more section where it says something about HTTPS something, PayPal me, / can angels fly tarot. All support is greatly appreciated and thank you. Facebook Zuckerberg, that not real name, is a grandchild of Rockefeller. See, it's generational. Oh yeah, it's generational. All generational. All handed down. With every time we have a child, we start again. Do you know how many times we as individual families start over and over again? In about 2 or 3 generations, we lose track of who was. Not these people. Not at all. They never start over. Never. That's crazy. And it's then gave them the upper hand. To now we are dying, we're struggling, our very souls is at stake. I'm ascending, I'm going to move up. I visited the angels realm where angels' love is administered. I'll go there. I ain't got time for this mess. Yoga without being motivated to solve problems in the world is useless. Right. TG, 5G is a military weapon, yes. Like they use on crowd control, yep. And I reported that back in 2016 or something, where I talked about you're being microwaved. You can type that into over there in my homepage, you've been microwaved, where I talked about that. People thought everybody think I'd be crazy. They know better than that. How you gonna come to me? I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about in my immediate environment. Come to me about any and everything. Because, Nancy got the answer. But then when I'm telling them stuff like this, then I'm crazy. Until it happened. Then you're crying. Get the hell away from me. Excuse my language. I get so upset and emotional. I done dealt with this stuff for a long time. So I'm so happy for the age of Aquarius. I really am. Make your skin feel like it's on fire. It's like the top layer is almost like it's unaffected. It's like you're crisping on the outside, but that little white meat under there, it be so hot. It's like it's pinching and tearing your that mother. I told you I lost my. This one I forget my right eye. I only have partial sight in my right eye due to that crap. And I told y'all, I shared it on here. I told everybody I knew. I went to the doctor, the retina doctor. He want to ask me. I'm telling me, you just missed me. I'm like, okay. He ran all the tests. You're too young. You don't have any medical problems. You don't have high blood pressure. You don't have this. You don't have that. I told you though. I told you what happened to me. I get so tired of people wanting to dismiss me because I don't look like they think I should look. I don't talk like they want me to talk, or I won't do what they want me to do, or I don't hold a accolade or the accolade that they want me to hold. So they will not take me serious across the board. And I'm to the point like this: die. Don't die, bitch, die. Because I'm telling you, I'm crude and rude. But that's where I am now. That stuff is crazy. They aren't spending money that came from slavery. Oh, you know it. You know it. Well, they say we do have our soul groups we incarnate with. Yeah, come in, handle, because somebody got to remember something at the same time. We can't all be forgetful, and when we finally do remember, somebody got to remember with us so that we can do the work that needs to be done. And so that's the soul group. And it's basically based on generations. I talk about the generation where it was dealing with the slavery, generation dealing with the Holocaust. These are very traumatic, memorable, recorded experiences that we are all aware of. That's why I talk about them. Slavery, the Holocaust, I don't care what it was. What's the people that killed themselves to go to outer space, and all these things were had an impact. The 9/11, these are generational issues that we have to deal with in order to evolve. But we can keep acting like we don't get it. But as you mentioned, we are soul groups, so we know what we need to do. It's just that some of us get caught up in the beauty, in the luxury of this physical realm. But next time, what is it? Joke's on you. Come back to this realm again, it's not going to be the same. We've been caught up in this realm because of all this good sex and food and jewelry and cars and whatever else we can do to turn up pop bottles and look like we living a life. Okay, but next time you come here, it will be redecorated because guess what? We're going to get the job done. Remember, we're working under eternity. Either you could do it in a lifetime or you got all eternity to figure it out. So, we know this. We know, I really feel like we know if we stop being so self involved and egotistical. They are spending, okay, I did that, I said that. Well, they say we do, okay, I read that. Um, we will have one of them be our enemy or such. Given your experience, you choose makes sense. What are the generational issues of today, Nancy, of 2019? Well, 2019 is still in the making. But when we start talking the generational, I forgot the time period of the generational as far as planets. But let's say, hypothetically, a generation is considered, every 10 years or something, a decade or something like that. And so whatever happens, saying hypothetically, case scenario, or example, is in a 10-year period. Remember, the purpose and intent in this physical realm is to have experiences that re-educate us. Therefore, our experiences in this physical world should not be so traumatic to it contaminates or traumatizes the soul and leads it to the sin. That's not what's supposed to happen. We're supposed to come in here for whatever reason, wherever the source is, and I've covered it in other videos, so I'm not going to go in there and talk about what brought us down. But the whole point is to get back to source, to the jolt, to the creator, depending on where you're from. And in doing so, you got to earn your way. You have to earn your way. And so in a 10-year period, how can I say this? In a 10-year period, we supposed to be earning our way back up, cleaning ourselves up and being re-educated. But instead, so many experiences transpire in a 10-year period, and most of them that transpired are not helping us ascend. No, we are egotistical, self-involved, in this case, in this realm, satisfying our urges and desires and things like that. And so the events are, they vary. Again, they vary because it depends on what we are reincarnating back into: the scenery, the setup, the beliefs, the philosophies, and that is what creates the generational issues. Like I was talking about, let me see what's a current generational issue. I'm gonna tell you about a current generational issue is that is in the making right now. We talked about a little earlier in this live stream that we are totally relinquishing nature for artificial intelligence. We're replacing it. And we're going to allow that artificial intelligence to govern us and to be our God. That artificial intelligence has cataloged all of our thoughts, all of our behaviors. It is the ultimate seer. And as a direct result of developing this system and not stopping it at some point, it was no stop, it was no safety measure. We just keep extending it forward. That adds more power into the hands of the elitists or the very intelligent, actually, Again, now the intelligent can take over even the elitists. We gonna see where it goes. But that is a making of a generational curse because of what the people did and allowed to happen and didn't stop. Not only that, uh, due to AI or technology being I'll say, the framework for humanity now, any generational issues that exist are going to be a direct result of AI being the main frame to our existence. Everything from maybe people starving to death. Maybe there will be greater hunger and deprivation, not because we can't make more food, because science has allowed us to, but now everything is more commercialized. And if you don't fit the standard, or keeping with biblical stuff, take the mark of the beast, then you can't eat or buy or sell. Da, da, da. That's a generational issue or curse. You see what I'm saying? So the generational issues or curses that we deal with depend on the circumstances and situations that are in play, as well as the ruling philosophies and beliefs and things like that. And it also has to do with the people, and if the people will put up a fight or a revolt, you know. And so the next generation inherits whatever the results are of a particular life experience. Kind of hard to explain. So, um, those who don't take us serious, ask them, is there anyone smarter here? I can speak. They do. They already know. They're like, no, no, no. I don't mean it like that, Nancy. You only mean it. Say that sweet stuff when you want me to do something you want me to do, and I won't do it. I guess we gonna plan room, right? I guess we gonna planning room, right? Before we bust the move, we see many screenshots of our life going uh and how we die. You lost me, Terry. You lost me. I really, really tried. ah, ah. The Holocaust, black slaves hasn't ended. You know it hasn't, but I'm not gonna show that, Yanni. You gonna get my channel taken down. Ah, Design Your Life says technology. So true, Nancy. Um, what they want us to keep amnesia. So we stay here live. Yeah, la la la. We are not in prison here, not being punished. They tricked us and still right. I do believe that they tricked us, they bamboozled us. I think we were all here at a point in time where we didn't know how we were going to evolve, survive, and why, I think at one point we did know why we were here, and then we went to this place where we didn't know why we were here. We started figuring it out. I believe we created an order, a structure, so we could figure out how to survive. And I think those that were inquiring the information, I talked about all this, they kept it. They saw just how priceless it was, and they made everybody else the slave class. And they realized that they could take rulership or command of this ship, so to say, with the information they have been acquiring. Now be a pre-planning room. Look over your life. Look over your life. Oh, yeah. I wonder. Because I just wonder. Like my subconscious mind. I got the video on here about subconscious mind, where it appears that I've experienced past lives before, and that was for multiple reasons. So I think may have that ongoing throughout our lives. Everything's so blurry. But I done talked y'all ear off. It's just one more thing I want to say, and it is relative to our experience here in this physical realm, what it was, what it is, and what it could be. And I mean it from the perspective of some people seem to believe that, how can I say it? Our current structure is a really nice structure. Everybody has a role to play and works to do. The issue is that again is capitalism or commercialized. It's based in capitalism and it's very commercial, everything for sale. And people believe that upon ascension that our whole system will collapse and we don't have to work. Now that ain't true and that don't make no sense. The only reason we ain't gonna work because AI gonna take over. But what am I saying? Think about when we could say hypothetically, living more naturally or raw or in the nude. Um, we had to do a lot of work, a whole lot of work. We had to create shelters. We had to create fires and trees. We had to adapt to the environment. We had to figure out food, categorize it, cook it. So it was a lot more work, I'm sure, that our ancestors did. I'm talking about distant ancestors did than we even do now. I think we have bored to death. That's why we get in trouble all the time. And we always in love and out of love and going roller skating and vacation and we bored. Back then they ain't have time for all that. Even if it did, they ain't have time for it. Because they had to do what? They had to make sure they had the bare basics to survive. So why do I bring that up? Even if, now this is totally separate from what I just talked about, even if we were to have a major change and we could say how we wanted it to be. Now, starting tomorrow, if we say, oh, we don't want to go to work no more for nobody else, and the people that are in power told the military stand back, people don't want to work no more for nobody else, cool. But the reality is we will still have to get up the next day and go out and do what? Chop some firewood, hunt some animals, or pull some vegetables or something. We will have to work from the moment the sun came up until it went down to sustain ourselves in this physical world. And so I just wanted to make sure people are aware that we can't live in this realm and just sit here. It's no way. That we are high maintenance beings. We are high maintenance beings. Even in a realm that is a self contained ecosystem, we still are required to do some work to make it happen. And I just say that because I just wanted to clarify because I keep hearing people say that. And that's not the case. But the thing of it is, we could be we work for ourselves, or we could do what we tried to do before it was hijacked and we could work together or collaborate to sustain ourselves in this world. And or we can do what we're doing now, work in a capitalistic and corporate way. Those are the three choices we have. And we in a work for a capitalistic and corporation. We don't want to work collectively together to make sure that we sustain our lives so we can have the lessons that we need and evolve. That is the perfect makeup. That's the utopia. That's the heaven here on this world in order to help us ascend, to evolve. All right. All right. Before I close out this live stream, I'm going to read the chat one more time, and then I'm going to discontinue or disconnect from this live stream. I thank you all for dropping by. Please, I ask you to like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Now, what y'all talking about? I done got hungry. Let's see. Saturn is trying to stop the frequency sending to fake moon than us. These people nuts. That's all I know they are. Sorry, using challenge phone. You got a challenge phone. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. Many people are moving out of major cities to get in with nature. Yeah, that's another thing that's bothering me. Ooh, it's just burning me up. That I'm not going to go into detail, but I've noticed, I'm going to just say it like this. I've noticed that a lot of people are relinquishing their property or their big homes, and their, what they call it, sedentary homes, in order to have more, what do you call it, mutable or mobile, or what do you call it, oh my God, I can't think of the word. It was, you know, I can't even think of the word, but mobile and mutable homes, and they're creating these miniature homes on wheels. These were people that had very elaborate houses and spent a lot of money and was wasteful of our natural resources. But now they're going in reverse. Why are so many people going in reverse? That's another sign that we're missing. Everything is going in reverse. And they're talking about how they have, I've seen things here on YouTube, people changing, building a little $4,000 or $5,000 mini homes. And again, mini homes on wheels. They change in school buses, vans, U-Hauls into buses, and they basically under $15,000. They got mobile homes on wheels. Why? Because we live in a very capitalistic and materialistic and highly demanding world. And the devil can never be satisfied. We keep on trying to pacify him, but he never gets full. And they realize it and they bail it out. And a lot of people are not paying attention. That's a whole nother video. I got to think of a title to call that one. But we need to pay attention. If you can make a change, make a change in order to not have as much stress in your life. See, all of us did this crappy crap because we were instructed to do so. Another thing I like to ask you to watch, if you have time, is the current weekly teroscopes for the week of April 15th through the 21st. It actually talks about the tarot talks about how we were miseducated, improperly influenced, and misled by major influential institutions or people that were in positions of authority. These authority figures, whatever they may have been in our lives, were biased, and in short, they were consciously misleading us to invest ourselves and our time and our energy in things that were so superficial and actually detrimental to our ability to evolve. That's what the tarot was talking about. This stuff is some bad stuff, such a mouth. Let's see. I'm smacking. It's time for me to get out of here. No bodily fluid requirements. Wouldn't that be nice? Don't want your channel down or my channel to come down. You wait a minute. Put your channel in the live stream, if you will, Yanni, so I can visit there. Design your life. You have a channel too. Put it in the chat so I can visit. Thank you, Nancy. You keep spreading the word. I'm a try. I have tried. I had my recent votes of confidence from some subscribers that gave me a boost because I was about to give up. People are waking up and the lies are so tower card. Yep, overwhelming, but they assault, overwhelming assault, right? Marshall Masters. Speak on it, Nancy. Okay, FEMA map is real. Marshall Masters tells truth. Just had 2 podcasts on Leak Project. Leak Project. I've seen Leak Project before. I've been over this channel before. But facts with love. Okay, I'm going to go back over there to Leak Projects and check that out too and see what's going on. Test our higher self brain from physical brain. Right. You love Rex. He's a very energetic person. Yeah, the things that I saw that he did was great. It was really great. Yeah, I was wondering how I could do that. Muscle test our higher self brain from the physical brain. Yeah, that's something I'm interested in doing. I just haven't figured out. I've asked about how to go about that. when I get the message. I've gotten part. Like I was excited when I was shown this. So I was like, okay. I said, well, if I'm gonna share this, I have to share it as a theory because I don't have any hardcore evidence. That's another thing. These beings that have an interest in this realm and keeping us dumb and asleep, uh, they depend on us not having any concrete evidence or people to listen or to be able to even look in their own at their own lives and say, well, yeah, I've seen that, or yeah, I've had that happen. A lot of people won't acknowledge the truth because it's not popular or it's not the social norm. And that's a live stream I like to have about what is your norm. I'm talking about in your immediate environment. What's normal for me ain't normal for you. And it goes on and on and on. And when something is not normal to you, it's not frequent, it's not common, you can just merely cast it to the side, to the wayside, as if it doesn't matter. When that thing that you may cast to the side that is strange or foreign to you may be the key to your breakthrough. That's great. All right, y'all. Bye. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I might be back later on to read some tarot cards. So maybe. I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe about 9 o'clock, maybe. No promises, but I'm feeling lucky, y'all.